Football on YouTube. Today is Thursday. It is January 29th. Gonna get a Roll Tide inside the comment box. Thank you very much for joining me today on the broadcast. Let me know where you're watching from. I appreciate you guys coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's wild to think that we've made it pretty much the first month of the year, right? You ever step back and you're like, man, this is already a month. We got 11 months left in the year. What have we done? What have we accomplished, right? Where are we at? Not only personally, but as a program, right? It's like, my goodness, 29 days down to the pipe. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. Feeling much better, making progress health-wise. So, if you're out there and you're battling through it a little bit, just, take time, take rest. And hopefully it doesn't keep you down too long. I've been down probably about, a week or so, right? But making progress. I'm feeling much better. Hopefully I'm able to get out to work out tomorrow on the 30th. We'll play it by ear, but I think I'm trending in that direction. So probably a game time decision for tomorrow's workout. And, today on the program, what we will discuss is Coach Kalen DeBoer down in beautiful Mobile, Alabama, talking to team reporters kind of about the transfer portal class and a couple different items on the table, as we haven't been able to talk to Coach Kalen DeBoer since the first, right? It's been pretty much a month, and you think about everything that's happened at that point in time, and, Alabama added 18. Alabama lost 21 guys. Alabama retained a lot of guys. I mean, it's just there's a lot of movement there. And we kind of start out with the portal class and what Coach Kalen DeBoer said, and kind of bullet point it, and I'll walk you through it. But to recap, Alabama signed 18, as you know. Kind of just to recap, here are all the guys that Alabama signed. This is a really big transfer portal class, and I think going forward, this will probably be around the numbers. I think, depending on guys who are leaving and this and that, you're probably, every year, I think going forward, building your class, you're probably going to have at least 20, maybe at the biggest, sometimes it might be like a class of like 25 or something like that, which is wild to think about. But I think that's kind of the transfer portal world that we do live in at this point in time. So, as I've spoken about many different times, I do feel that Alabama did hit on its needs, right, which was the most important thing to do in the transfer portal. And that's exactly what Coach Kalen DeBoer said. He was like, look, I feel that we addressed our needs on the offensive line, the defensive line, wide receiver position, and the special teams. I think directly going after special teams upgrades was very important. Long snapper, kicker, punter, that's not always going to get the biggest headline, but it's going to win you football games, right? 3 phases of the game. Sometimes we forget about the special teams. You're not going anywhere if you can't be accurate kicking the ball, right? If you don't have a consistent punter, you're not going to have a really strong team, and same thing with the long snapper. So I like where we're at from that standpoint. I like that Coach Kalen DeBoer addressed, look, we took care of what we needed to do at those particular areas. The offensive line, there's a lot of guys coming in. It's a completely new slate, and I'm going to go over in a second a little bit on why Coach Kalen DeBoer kind of explained why they let go of Coach Kapilovic. I think we all kind of understand why, but we'll bullet point that as well. I guess if you go by the 24/7 rankings, 24/7 on 3, whatever, Alabama's 16th nationally in the transfer portal rankings. I don't really care about the rankings. I know some of you guys do. It's like, I like to see who you got in, but I feel retention plays a much larger piece in your next roster coming up. I feel that you want guys that have buy-in mindset rather than are bag chasers. Now, is everybody a bag chaser? Not necessarily. But I think that, you want guys with that mentality that are here, understand the process. And I think retention is really important right now for Alabama. I'm not talking about anybody else. This is why. Because Coach Kalen DeBoer just got here himself. So having guys that have been here a couple years within Coach Kalen DeBoer's system, within the coaches that are here, right? That's important. You want guys that understand the philosophy. Like, for example, I think it is important that you had Keon Sabb come back. I think it is important that you have Bray Hubbard come back. I think it is important that you have ZB, Dejon Lee, some guys on the offensive side come back as well, because those guys understand what Coach Kalen DeBoer, like where we're going under his leadership, right? If you would have lost some of those guys, some of those older guys on defense, I think it makes for a little bit more challenging third year. Third year is such an important role, right? Absolutely. I think when you look to the third year of Alabama football under Coach Kalen DeBoer, this is a gigantic year. We've had time to grow. We've had time to assess. We've had wins. We've had losses, right? We've been in those different areas. And now this year, we understand where we need to tighten up. And Coach clearly thought the offensive line was an area that we needed to make changes at. So we brought in some linemen. And one of the things that I do like about this transfer portal class is that he went after guys that have multi-years of eligibility. You think about that? How important was that? Like, we could have went out and got like a bunch of like senior offensive linemen, but then you're right back in the transfer portal, right? I like the fact that we have a guy like Javen James coming in that has experience, but the younger guys have room to grow and have room to develop. Ty Haywood, Nick Brooks, Strayhorn, even Delgado himself, I see those as multi-year guys from the offensive line that can be here and grow within the program. You see what I'm saying? On the defensive line, and we're going to talk about the defensive line individually, what Coach Kalen DeBoer did was he went after guys that I think could match the other veterans that you had within the roster. And what I mean by that is talking about guys like a Terrence Green, guys like a Devin Tompkins, guys that are older in that regard. And I like that. So with all that said, I appreciate you guys being here. And this kind of the opening is the transfer portal class. So now, I mean, and you don't have to necessarily give me like your marks on a 1 to 10, but do you feel, are you satisfied with the portal class? Yes or no inside the comment box. Like, do you feel good about it? Do you feel that Alabama missed the mark? I know there's some articles out there that says Alabama missed on the mark. Did they miss on guys? Yeah, they missed on guys, but they landed some for sure. And I don't know. I mean, it seemed like they wanted a running back. It seems like they couldn't get a running back here. You could, look at some of the bigger guys who came here and didn't sign with Alabama. You can look at some of the guys that didn't even want to give Alabama a visit. Okay, fine. But you move on, and I think 18 guys in the class is pretty good. So appreciate you guys being here, and we'll continue in just a second. Let me get this added to social, and we'll go. But as you can see, I'm feeling much better. So thank you so much for kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. You guys doing all right? You guys have a good midweek? You guys have a good January? Yeah, I think this has been, like I said yesterday on the program, and I think even on the podcast this morning, and thanks for the support on the podcast. I mean, this is, it's been great, and I'm not going to lie, I think the amount of time that I put into the podcast, I think it becomes a little bit more each and every time I kind of step to that podium because my standards are so high. And I think when you get to a point like this in the back end of January, it becomes not necessarily a challenge to keep up that type of consistency and performance, but it's like, it is what it is. So I have been dealing just with my life, and because I talk to you guys every day, right? You see that you go through like kind of dips and waves. Like if you guys could have watched all the stuff that happened yesterday to me, it was like comedy, right? Like, I'm not feeling good. My computer was down yesterday. I had to do a bunch of like different updates and all this sort of stuff. Now my poor dog is sick. I'm taking her to the vet at 11. So it kind of just continues to come. But you got to keep continuing to push forward. So if you're out there and you're kind of going through a little bit of it, keep on trucking. We love you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here 100%. All right, 100 million %. All right. Let's see what else. Is there anything that I missed on this board? All right. Coach Kalen DeBoer spoke about Noah Rogers, Nick Brooks, Terrence Green, Devin Tompkins. Let me ask you before I get to this from the screen, do y'all think that Noah Rogers will be like a guy here? And he's the wide receiver from NC State. And the reason I ask about him is I think he comes in, and I think we need a veteran in that spot. You got Rico there. I think one of the position battles, and I don't even know if they're playing the exact position, right? But it's like, I feel that Rico or Noah, those guys are going to battle. How do you guys feel about Noah Rodgers? I'm excited to see him, man. Like watching his tape, I'm telling you, I really value what he brings. And losing Jerry Bernard, I don't think we've had time. And the more I've been thinking about it, about the offense, we don't return a lot of experience on the offense. We really don't, right? If we were to put up like the total snap counts for the Alabama offense, we got guys for sure, but we don't got a lot of experience. We just don't. Like, take away Noah Rodgers, like the snaps that he had last year, right? Because he didn't play here. Think about the starters that we got coming back. How many do we got? Okay, we got no quarterback. I don't know if we list a running back as a starter. Do we? I mean, they kind of spot started. Let's just say one running back. Okay, one tight end, right? Caleb Edwards, he started. So that's 2. Michael Carroll started. That's 3. Ryan Williams and Lazier Brooks. We got like 5 starters. You see what I'm saying? On offense. Now, the defense is a completely different story. I guess you could say 6 if you add Noah Rodgers that he started at NC State. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a lot of experience coming back to the offense. That's why those first 5 games so important, right? Before I get to my next slide, Coach Kalen DeBoer did put an emphasis, and I love this, man. He put an emphasis on the guys that they wanted to bring here, that they had character, leadership, and chemistry. And none of that says like bag chaser, right? Are these guys coming? Are they going to get obviously paid? Of course, right? Todd has Jay Lindsey as a starter. Okay. Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's not a lot of experience. I don't even know. I mean, there might be like a couple other guys, right? But it's like it's a very low number of starters. But getting those guys that have character, getting those guys that have leadership, that's very important, bringing those guys into the room. How about this? Did you all see this? And I don't even know if this is for sure. So there's like conflicting reports right now. But John Latham is reportedly coming back for a 7th season, right? Now, this is like one of the most like uplifting stories because this young man went through it, right? I mean, he had a neck injury. Like, how many different times do we go through things? Like, we see players get hit with like this, that. But like, this guy had a neck. And thank God he's okay, number one. But think about this. He's coming back for a 7th season. 7th season. And I think it was the Tuscaloosa News that said that he's coming back. Now, Coach Kalen DeBoer, he said that it's not really official yet, but he's been already seen like running bleachers and doing all sorts of stuff with the team. So I don't know. Either way, it's remarkable that he's okay. And him coming back, look, he plays the wolf position. Will he come back and be a starter? I don't think so. But having that type of veteran leadership, I think is good. You know what also is good? Is the fact that this has got to be like an inspirational story within the room. Right? Be like, yo, this is a testament to like what this man went through. Don't take time for granted. So I just wanted to kind of notate this real fast because I'm excited that he's just okay. Right? So John Latham, he's okay, coming back for 7th year. And yo, that's an elder coming back, man. The elder wolf. Oh, I like that, right? Yeah, thank you so much, man. Let's see who's up inside the crib today. Appreciate you guys being here. Marshall, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Roll Tide from Orlando. Jesus saves. I appreciate you. Do you guys ever go past Jesus Man down in like Cottondale? Those of you who like live in Tuscaloosa or those that lived, how long has Jesus Man been there? Do you guys know who I'm talking about? If you've been in this area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you drive through kind of the backside of Cottondale, working through like up towards, kind of like the cut through, I guess, to Birmingham on this backside, You'll run through Jesus, man. He holds a sign. I talked to him one time. I've told you about my experience. It was the wildest thing. I would have not, like, that little conversation that we had, I still think about it. Bruce, what's up, man? Thank you very much for being here. Max, good morning to you. Nicholas Harden, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Bruce Williams. We have Miss Kimberly up in the house. We have, Sonia. Have you seen Jesus, man, right? 100%. King's family, what's up, bro? Yeah, I feel a lot better, man. Feeling stronger. Just rest. It's just, it's going to take time. Robert Bradley Jr., what's up, brother? Good to see you. Good morning to you, man. I appreciate you being here. B. Yuri 14, what's up? Thank you so much. Miss Nicole Covington, good morning to you. Lag Gaming, man, I know you're a little under the weather. You said inside the comment box. I hope that you're able to rest. Puggle Power, what's up, bro? Good to see you up in the house. I love that name. As I said, I'm taking my little puppy to the doctor at 11. Let's see. Seth Juice, what's up, man? Good to see you up inside the comment box, man. I know you've been active lately. BJ coming to us from Las Vegas. What's up, bro? We need to hit up next time I'm out in Vegas, dude. You know what? Because we have a Vegas crew. There's like people from Vegas on here. All right. So, BJ, you pick the spot next because I've already planned places. I'm going to Mobile. We're going to hang out down in Mobile somewhere. I am the guest. You guys, we're going to set this up together, but you tell me. Okay. And then I also want to do one like in maybe like Vegas or like Henderson. So BJ, can you set this up? All right. It doesn't have to be fancy. We're not trying to be fancy here. This isn't Hollywood. Okay. This is literally setting up a computer, setting up a microphone, talking Alabama, maybe having a cold one and just enjoying life. All right. So think about that. Yeah. Pearl, she should be okay. It is Pearl. I'm kind of watching her. We got some stuff going on, so I'll keep you guys posted. About a year ago, as you know, she was fighting for her life out in Birmingham, but she made a strong recovery. Strong like bull. All right, who else we got? We got Cody. What's up, Cody? Appreciate you being here. Paul, good morning. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Anna, what's up? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the prayers. Dano, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Kim, what's up? Kim, we need to get you to become a fan funder. I think everybody, we got Oceanic Jazz, you too, man. What's up? Good to see you, bro. Appreciate you guys being up in the crib. Let's see. Chris says that Noah Rogers is better than any wide receiver that played at Bama last year. Dude, his highlights are good, right? Now, let's see. Is he better than Lazier Brooks? Different wide receivers, for sure. Is he better than Ryan Williams? He's better than Ryan Williams was last year. That's interesting. And they're all different receivers, right? I think you get those three on the field. That's why they're complementary, right? Like, I think Noah's a little bit bigger. Ryan is kind of like your all-purpose guy, and Lazier's that slot guy. So, I have high expectations for Noah, man, 100%. All right. I thought this was interesting. Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday down in Mobile, right, was talking about the two quarterbacks and why it was important to keep those two quarterbacks. And I started thinking about this as well. I was like, it seems to me that the strategy is for programs just to buy a veteran quarterback. Alabama hasn't gone that direction yet. Will they ever? I don't know. But I could give you examples. LSU, Texas Tech, Miami. And who else is buying their quarterback, right? I'm talking like a one-year runner. Alabama's going a different route. They're going the developmental route. They want to get guys, and they want to develop them for multiple years. How is that going to work out? I think we're all in the experimental phase with where we're at, because what I'm scared of, and this is just playing devil's advocate, you know what terrifies me, is that we put money, time, development into a guy like Keelan Russell, and then next year, Miami comes over here and they're like, yo, Keelan, how's $18 million sound to come to Miami? And DeBoer and Alabama, what were they paying Ty Simpson? They were paying Ty Simpson what? Was it $400,000 with up to $800,000 in incentives, right? I mean, you guys think that Keelan Russell is making over $10 million right now? as a, I guess, I don't know, backup or the starter, whatever he is right now? More or less than $10 million for Keelan Russell. I don't know, but I'm saying other programs have started that method. Alabama wants to develop these guys, and they want to keep them here as long as they can, right? So DeBoer says it was huge to keep the two quarterbacks. You couldn't let Matt go. You couldn't let Keelan go, right? You don't want those guys playing for other programs, right? Kept them, re-signed them. I have no idea what they're making. We don't know. Obviously, everyone's saying less, than $10 million. But I guarantee you, it probably, and this is going to sound crazy, it sounds like Keelan is making way more than Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is only making $400,000? Come on, there's no way in hell that Keelan Russell is sitting on the bench making less than $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Bulldog points out inside the comment box, what's up, Bulldog? Saying no one should get $10 million. What is Duke's quarterback getting? He's getting that, right? Isn't it like 10.5? I think that's what he's getting. Plus, Miami bought his buyout. So, like, if you look to that entire thing, it might be a deal worth like $15 million. Whatever the case is, we have the coaches and we have Alabama that want to develop quarterbacks. So we go to this season and we don't have experience, which is sometimes it can hurt you, but the way that the season sets up, it'll give these guys experience. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to be Keelan Russell. It might be, right? I don't think, this is what I think. I don't think just because Austin Mack was the true number 2, I don't think that means that he's a starter this year. I really don't. I think that they battle and they kind of just start from scratch. And I think they allow Keelan Russell to, kind of come around. I don't think just because he was number 2 starter. I'm not going to go there. I think it's wide open for the taking. Coach Kalen DeBoer said that it keeps the offense moving forward. Yep. These guys have been in the system. They understand it, right? And I think this was important too. He said this helps kind of offset some of the offensive linemen that they lost. I was thinking about that. I was like, that was an interesting point. Because you did lose some guys that were kind of like the leaders, right? Parker Brailsford, Caden Proctor, right? But Bama wants to develop a quarterback. Do we have an issue with that? Not really. The only time that we have an issue with it is when somebody comes and tries to buy our quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, Wade's World is pointing out, like, Jet Tamala, right? Let's just say, how many years until he plays? How many years do you think Tamala plays legitimately here? And how long will he sit and develop here at Bama? I'm really curious about this. Okay, so let's just put this on paper, all right? Let's just kind of see how it looks. Let's say that 2026 is who you guys want as quarterback. All right? So 2027, and this would be, I'm just doing Tamala, right? Jet Tamala. Okay, that would be year 1 for him. Bench. 2020, do you think that Jet stays as quarterback? Okay. Do you think he wins the job in 2027? I'm talking about Tamala, right? Let's say Russell's the quarterback again in 2027, right? Tamala, year 2. Okay. So 2028, I guess Tamala wins the job, right? Which will be his 3rd year. Is this how you guys have it? Because that's the developmental route, right? I just put it inside the comment box, right? So you got 2026, Mack or Russell. Tamala, that'll be his 1st year here, right? 2027, Russell, right? And then that'll be year 2, and then he'll leave, and then 2028. Or do you have Elijah Haven beating him out Or do you have Trent Seaborn at that time starting? I don't know. And my point is, I'm asking you, is like, that's the developmental route. So, and he obviously knows that. Do you think he's smart enough to know that the mullet knows that he's coming here and he's not going to play until 2028? Maybe. Right? That's going to be the challenge for Alabama as well as everybody else, right? And see, Nicholas has Seaborn coming in 2028. Well, he'll come in next year, right? And you have Elijah Haven. Kalen was asking Haven. I'm sure he'll commit to Alabama, right? I mean, that's where he's favored to go. So he's going to be on board too. Trent Seaborn, the Mala, and then you can't forget about Kawa. He's going to be here too. He's got to play at some point, I guess. I just think what I'm bringing this up about is like, it's going to be hard to keep all these guys here. And I don't know if you can go the developmental route for much longer. I think what all programs might be going to is who's the best quarterback that you can get in that has experience. Alabama didn't have experience last year coming in. Alabama doesn't have experience this year coming in. Does that hurt the offense? I don't know. But this is kind of the world that we're at, right? There's no more wait and develop. I think we're going to see that kind of less and less. But for this year where we're at, it worked out perfectly. It's a real big blessing for Bama to have Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. Like a huge blessing. There's not a lot of programs that have two quarterbacks like that. Right? I'm just saying. I think that'll change in the future, but right now, Bama's set up like in a really good spot. From the 1 and 2 spot. Whoever wins the job and the backup, we got two starters. I think going forward, you're going to have the guy you probably pay for and then some younger guys. It'd be tough. The defensive line, he seemed really excited about. And me too. I mean, and you know what he mentioned here? Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday down in Mobile, he spoke about kind of upgrading in this area. And from like a size perspective. Let's just think about this here. Terrence Green, 6'6", 330. Oh, he's bigger than Tim Keenan. You got Zulu coming in, about the same size as like a Keon Keeley, an LT Overton. You got Devin Tompkins. We don't have a bandit like that. Devin Tompkins is a big man. What is he? 6'6", 290? He's a big dude as well. So the defensive line, right? Because you lost Tim, you lost LT, you lost James Smith, you lost Keon Keeley, you lost Jordan Renaud, you lost who else? Kelby Collins. Man, we lost a lot of guys on the DL. Think about it. You have Keenan and you have LT at the Senior Bowl, clearly, right? Yeah, Oceanic Jazz. We could look at that at the back end for sure. He said this about the defensive line guys. He said that these guys are like veterans, captain-like guys coming in. I'm telling you, I have a lot of questions about the offense. I'll just be honest with you. The defense, I'm excited about the defense. I like where we're at. The only question that I have now with the defense is kind of the inside linebackers. But everything else I feel like amazing about. I feel good about the two deep, again, on defense. But offense, I have a lot of questions. Like a lot of questions. No idea what the offensive line is going to look like. No idea if like our commitment to the running game. No idea like how good these running backs are really going to be. No idea about the quarterback. Like how good is the quarterback really going to be when they get to play? We can all make believe they're going to be the best, but until we see them like operating the offense, we just no idea. Is Ryan Williams going to have like a bounce back year? There's a lot of questions on offense. Defensive line was good. Getting this big man was tremendous, right? Terrence Green. He says he feels good about the direction of where Alabama's defense is going. size, athleticism overall. Also kind of spoke about the coaches. Do we all like this hire? I think this is a really good hire, right? Derrick Nix. Thumbs up. You guys agree inside the comment box? I think this was an area. I think so far it's been positive with Adrian for sure. But I think with Derrick Nix, I think people are really happy here. Coach Kalen DeBoer was asked about it a little bit and said, kind of talked about how the wide receiver room does change after Jamarcus Shepard. Agree. I like Jamarcus Shepard. I didn't really have any type of beef with him. I don't think anybody did. People like that type of enthusiasm. He seemed like he coaches hard. I like guys that are inspirational like that. I would like to play for a Jamarcus Shepard, right? Somebody that's inspiring. But he went on. It was his time to go. And what I like about this move is you got somebody from the Southeast that's experienced and that's got ties and has shown stability. Like, he was at Ole Miss for a long time. He was at Auburn. Like, this isn't a guy who's gone here. I can tell you a lot about people who have stability in their life, right? People like that. This guy just seems like a grown man. And I think he comes in and he has some wide receivers that he has a chance to elevate. The two additions, too, that he recently brought in with, from 2026, I like that. And see, like, Danny, the great inside the comment box, he knows the region, right? I think that's going to be tremendous. And I think, Danny, that's where he flexed on bringing the last two commitments in, right? The 4-3 kid, Aubrey Walker, and then Maurice, right? I think that kind of flexed on that. So this was a great, you talk about like chess moves. And sometimes, look, fam, I know we want like the Sam Pittmans. We want like the Jeremy Pruitts. We want, these guys that are, from Saban or whatever it is. I think sometimes like this is close to that. I'm not saying he has any ties to Saban, but I'm saying he's from the area. People know him. He understands this area. That he has the mindset of the SEC. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the blessing is like right in front of you. Maybe you already got this. You're asking for something, you got it. So he mentioned that he was able to connect with the players very quickly. And I think in terms of development, he does have his hands full too. He's got to turn. Look, I think that Coach Klemm and Coach Nix have pressure on them immediately because they got to turn up those rooms. There's like, we all know what's going on with the offensive line. We'll talk about them next. But I'm talking like the wide receivers, you all know 100% they need to get better. They do. They were dropping. Look, I love me some Germ. I love me some Isaiah Horton, and I understand he left. He was a bag chaser, whatever. Ryan Williams, I love him. I've never sold on him. All those guys were dropping passes. I've never seen a team drop more passes than last year. I don't know if that was like the record or whatever it is, but it was a constant thing. And I don't like the gimmicks. I don't like the goggles. I've already told you how I felt about catching wrenches and all this other crap at practice. Catch a football again and again and again and again. You know what I'm saying? I think he brings a lot to Alabama. I think this is a stellar hire. And I think people are still warming up to Adrian Klemm, but I think right now it's like, man, this is the guy. I think you've been asking for somebody like that. He's here. You got him. Spoke about moving on from Coach Kapilovic. This is Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday down in Mobile. What's up, Jamie? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Cody, Danny the Great, Bruce Williams, Chris, OG, Max Tooney, Dano, EL2. What's up, man? Steve Taylor, good to see you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Jason Layfield, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, 100%. Let's see what Jason has to say. I like this comment. Jason has to say, I remember watching Coach Nix play and his brother at Southern Miss and having followed them through his career. Yeah, see what I'm saying? People know. People in this area know for sure. 100%. Those goggles. Remember this? As soon as I saw them wearing those goggles, I was like, what the hell are we doing here? Sometimes having too much technology is just not good. You know what I'm saying? You agree with me? Just because we can get all this technology doesn't mean it's going to help. Oh, EL's E-Man? Oh, what's up, E-Man? Good to see you, bro. Wow. Just in from Nick Kelly. Betty Akko's next hearing will be scheduled February 6th. I bet you that hearing gets pushed back to like May, right? Can you imagine? I don't know about that. Flav Man, what's up, dog? He's like, sports science definitely. No, I don't know about that, man. Have you been in that place? Yo, that place is crazy. That's Jeff Allen's kind of like, that's his realm. And he's been able to get guys back to health. So, but they're doing some space age stuff for sure. All right. So moving on from Coach Kapilovic, we all knew that this was a move. Like a move was coming eventually. This was going to happen, right? Clearly Alabama will have a new coach, which is Adrian Klemm. They just announced that a couple days ago. DeBoer said it was about production. What does that mean? Production from like offensive line standpoint. I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, production. Because to me, like, if I was to fire Coach Kapilovic or anybody, I'm like, production is clearly something. But for me, I felt it was like development. I didn't see development. I didn't see development over a couple years. But Coach Kalen DeBoer said production and wants a better mindset and wants better execution. I can see that 100%. Emphasis on fundamentals in the details. Okay? And a fresh start with just new faces in the room. 100%. And I guess, like, Coach Kapilovic was, like, shocked because he was on the road recruiting, right? I think even that morning he was down at, like, what? Like, Phoenix City? That's why I feel bad for the man. Imagine driving from Tuscaloosa down to Phoenix City and back. That's a haul. You get back and you just want some food and, just to chill. Take off your shoes. And you get the call from Coach Kalen DeBoer and you're just like, oh. Coach, what's up, man? Hey, Smitty, dude. Chad, Kennedy, what's up, dog? Good to see you inside the comment box, man. You doing okay? David Martin, what's up, dog? Good to see you. Guys doing okay? So I think a lot of this is the obvious, but you had to move on. And this isn't the first coach that Kalen DeBoer has fired, right? You fired Hitchler last year, the safeties coach. Okay, let's look at it this way. Coach Kalen DeBoer fired Hitchler last year. Did Alabama take a step forward with the secondary? They brought in Jason Jones. I would say yeah. That secondary was going to be good either way, but, I mean, they had to make, cuts. They made him. So now you go with the offensive. You let somebody go from the offense, and maybe we take a step forward there. You have to. Gage, what's up, man? Gage says, do you think the quarterback development will struggle without Sheridan? I don't know. There's been so much turnover at that quarterback coaching position over the last couple of years. I just think it's been really unfortunate for the quarterbacks in the room, but that's how it happens, right? I know that the guys are really tight with Sheridan, specifically Ty Simpson. Brian Ellis, we'll see how he does. He has good experience working with quarterbacks. Kalen DeBoer is a quarterback guy, so is Grubb. But, yeah, I think it's a good question, 100%. So we move on from Kapilovic, and that's kind of where we're at. So to kind of recap, DeBoer recapped the transfer class. 18 guys in, feeling really good about it. Spoke about Kapilovic. He said lack of production. spoke about what Nix brings to the wide receiver room, right? Was really fired up about the defensive line and talked about kind of the quarterback retention, why it was so important, right? So that's kind of where we're at from listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer. And kind of the show was about recapping Coach because we haven't heard, we didn't hear him speak all January. The last time was, the Rose Bowl. So think about all the things that happened at that point in time. It was good to hear some of the things they had to say. And I like the transfer portal class. I'm about needs. I'm not necessarily about wants. I think the wants were retention. And I think there were some guys that we lost that hurt. But it sounds like we're able to kind of get past. So the call-in show is open. If you called in yesterday, you're taking off today. And I appreciate you guys doing that and respecting that, as always. Thank you so much for abiding by that rule. So 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. That's really, one of the rules that I have is like if you called in yesterday, don't call back in today. And I really appreciate you guys in doing that. So 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. I'll be here if you guys want to chat. Something's on your mind. You want to bring up something. You want to ask me a question. You want to tell something to the community. Now is a good time to do it. 205-850-1994. I'm kind of, now that I'm feeling better too, I might be back with a later show kind of in the afternoon to talk about a couple other things that have been on my mind. But, I feel really good with where we're at least going into this month of February. And kind of going into February, now you will get into the fourth quarter program. You'll start to see kind of how those guys blend together. Right now they're working out with Coach David Ballou, the strength and conditioning coach, kind of get the mind right for this coming spring season. And I don't think, you know what? Have we heard if there is going to be a spring football game? Does anybody know? I'm really curious about that because I guess the way that the world is so weird, we couldn't have one because of poaching season. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Also, tomorrow we are going to try to spin the pinwheel. Okay, so the pinwheel is back. You're like, what the hell is the pinwheel? The pinwheel is a game that we played all summer long until we got the kibosh on it. The pinwheel is back. Okay, so these are the hoodies that we are raffling tomorrow. You get 3 chances, $10 to get in. Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. It's open. We'll spin it on tomorrow's show. Okay, this will be the pinwheel. So we're back in action. All right, so Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. There's like 6 people in right now. So the beginning raffles are always, give you good opportunity. I think we got yesterday Super Chat and a couple other people. There's like 6 or 7 people in there so far. So your chances are pretty good to win the raffle. So we'll spin it tomorrow. All right. Well, looks like we're good on calls today. You guys good? It looks like we wrapped up everything. So appreciate you guys joining today's show right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I got to take off anyways. I have to take the puppy to the vet. I think she'll be fine. It's just, a couple little things that I'm watching. And, after everything that the poor dog went through last year, oh, my God. So I'm just glad she's around. Pet, how it is. Your life stops when your kids are sick or when your pets are sick. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be here as news happens. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube Monday through Friday. I'm feeling much better. Thank you for all your prayers. And, we'll continue to spin it right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Thursday. Keep your heads on a swivel. As news as it happens, I got you covered. And I will be back soon with another video right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for watching, fam. Definitely check out Wake Up Bama every morning, 4 a.m. And have a beautiful rest of your Thursday.